So happy.
And
so that's always fun.
and then you was talking about the coming up the last dance. I think is what they're calling it.
Oh yes, I'm
I think
ready.
everybody be excited to see that. I'll definitely be watching it.
For those of you that don't know what we're speaking about, ESPN, I guess due to public demand, and not just public demand, but the lack of content that they even have to put out besides classic games and reruns, has decided to move up the 10-part documentary series on Michael Jordan's Bulls of the 90s, which to me I'm all game for it. And what excites me the most about it is it's going to be airing episodes 1 and 2 on my birthday. So to me, I'm like, hey,
what day
happy
was
birthday.
that again?
It's April 19th. So April 19th will be when the first 2 parts of the documentary series will air on ESPN. I think as well, like when it's done, you'll be able to go back and watch it on like ESPN Live. Thank you, Kevin, for bringing in the Purell and the sanitation and the hand sanitizer that we're going to need, obviously. There were other people here today. Don't know about if they're...
a little bit.
Yeah, I'll need to back my microphone up just a little bit. Kevin, how's your day been?
What's wrong with your microphone?
We
don't know if they have the Rona.
I told them not to touch the microphones while they were in here. I said, I'll set them where you need to go. Y'all don't touch them.
There's a funny Facebook meme out, and it's a dog. I don't know if y'all have seen it. And it says, every time I get the throat tickle, is that you, Rona?
Is that you? Well, see, I feel bad because I have a dry cough, and people are like, oh, my gosh, is that it? And I'm like, no. I don't have any of the other symptoms. It's called allergies. The pollen is getting me just as bad as the corona is. I'll just tell you that. It's getting me quicker. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
So, Hunter, I heard you talking, and it is pretty ironic, Zach, because Hunter, who really didn't live in the Jordan era, has been really excited about this documentary and telling him to post it early, and then they posted on his birthday.
Yeah, I think that's great. They did. Like, I have been really I've been adamant about them pushing it forward.
He's been really adamant about it.
So the Redskins didn't get Cam. And he gets that on his birthday. You got 2 presents.
He was awful scared there for a while.
I was awful scared. But I am glad that they decided to push the documentary forward.
But the good news is, Hunter, if you would have had Ron and Cam, there's a good chance you'd have had the same number of Super Bowls as you had in the past 25 years.
It doesn't matter. We're still going to have that regardless this coming year. That's
still zero.
That's going to be a staple.
Yeah, we was talking about that coming out. And
it's 10 parts, isn't it?
10 parts.
So how are they going to...
It's 5 different air dates. The April 19th is going to have 1 and 2 that play one after the other. I was
wondering.
Yeah. I wish they would do like 10 straight days of it. I'm like, that's fantastic. But
why not? I just had a lot of questions about, is this about his whole career? He's called The Last Dance. Is it just the last 3 years?
This is
the Washington years?
What people have to remember is even though Michael Jordan is the primary character, it is about the Bulls as a whole, the 90s Bulls. But you can't talk about the 90s Bulls without Michael Jordan. So he'll, of course, be the main focal point and probably what it's centered about mostly, but it'll go in about Scotty, Rodman, Phil Jackson,
Curve.
They've got so many people coming on there to talk about him. It's ridiculous. There's a great video that one of the first promotionals that they did. It showed a ton of people that were going to be on there. Roy Williams is going to come on there at some point. I don't know what episode. Patrick Ewing's going to be on there. Charles Barkley's going to be on there. Magic Johnson definitely is going to be on there. The late Kobe Bryant is going to be on there.
Carmen Electra for some reason.
For some reason. And Justin Timberlake.
She might have been married to him.
That's exactly right.
Well,
it just clicked as soon as you looked up. I was remembered
like,
that.
Come on, Zach.
That's exactly what it was.
So it is essentially about the Bulls, just the dynasty that they were as a whole. So that kind of explains the 10-part documentary series because you got to go through 3 different three-peats.
Okay. So I just wanted to make sure that if they were talking about the whole thing or just random things.
I don't know if you heard me say this to Zach off air before we came on, but I caught the tail end of Bill Simmons' interview with Colin Cowherd today. Bill Simmons created The Ringer. For those of you that don't know, The Ringer's now sold for a couple $2 billion to Spotify.
Now I'll tell you, Hunter, a real quick story on Simmons.
I like Bill Simmons.
Name sounds real familiar. Is he like a...
He used to be on ESPN.
I thought he was.
He used to call himself the sports guy.
Yeah.
And he used to write an article on ESPN, and there was 2 writers on ESPN who I read all the time.
Okay.
He was one of them.
Right.
And Greg Easterbrook is the other one.
I know Greg.
So Greg Easterbrook's ton of different writings, but what he used to do, it used to be called Tuesday Morning Quarterback. And he would, I mean, it was pages and pages. If you print it out, it'd be pages and pages of information. And he was doing analytical stuff in football before anyone else has been doing analytics. So I really enjoyed his articles. He'd give you information that you'd never know, some fun things. Simmons was kind of like that, but he was more of the first people who made a lot of jokes when he wrote.
Yeah.
It was kind of, in a joking manner, and he would write about things other than like the basic journalistic, writings that people do, like, hey, our team's great, our team's this and that. Now, I'll tell you when I fell out on Simmons.
Right.
And it's partly personal, but it's not. But he's a Boston guy, right?
Yeah.
So
Northeastern.
He's Boston. It's all Boston sports. So when the Yankees, when the Red Sox came back and beat the Yankees in that series, the next series they played the Cardinals in the World Series, and he lost a ton of what he was doing / his shtick because the Red Sox won. And it totally changed on my end perspective of him reading and writing about that series and stuff, that it was totally biased. He didn't care. It was just all about Boston. And that's the point when, right at the same time, Zach, Red Sox starts winning. Patriots start winning Super Bowl. So it was just...
Celtics were pretty good, too.
It went from a funny, bitter writer to a, hey, we're the champs. And it was a cocky Boston person that you know now.
Yeah, well.
Like, honestly, before Red Sox won that World Series, I couldn't name 5 people that I know that was a Boston Red Sox fan. I honestly don't even know if I know one before they won that World Series.
Well, I
even
know
during the World Series, and see, I was in college, so even during the World Series, all my friends during all that, they were Braves or Yankees fans. None of them, I don't know. I still won't know if I know 5 Red Sox fans.
I know one, but it's my 84-year-old grandfather. Well, a Boston Red Sox
I know
fan,
2.
So.
I think I know 2 Red Sox fans.
But Bill Simmons, essentially, he said, this documentary is more than likely going to reassure everybody that Michael Jordan was the greatest basketball player of all time. He said that's more than likely what's going to come out of this. It's going to go so in-depth just about the Bulls as a whole, but it will bring to light the greatness that is his airness in Michael Jordan. And I could see that. He goes on to say how the Jordan in, the 98 series, averaging 41, the whole NBA Finals series, said is probably the greatest thing in basketball he's ever seen. So,
I didn't see Bill Cartwright getting interviewed.
Cartwright.
I didn't see. I tell you what. I tell you who I didn't. Who else I didn't see? I didn't see Isaiah Thomas on there either.
I love Bill Cartwright's voice.
Threatened to break Jordan's legs.
Yeah, that too. But he had one of the most unique shots in history, Hunter. It would be behind his head, so people can see it, and he would flip from here.
His free throw was awesome.
He'd shoot his free throw like this. He would go behind his head and flip it like that. Weird.
The one thing I did notice about the vignettes that they played was the cast of
you guys not allowed
players, and this you'll see them.
Well, this is not the one.
You forget how good of a team that he had around him. It was very well played.
Jordan is the most talented player in the NBA by far.
So they set up their teams totally different than, say, like LeBron and them set up their team. Like LeBron and them's idea is to build the best team that he can possibly. Like I'm going to add
through player movement,
right? I'm going to add this stud, this stud, this stud. Like okay, last year, why didn't the Lakers do good last year? Now all of us, LeBron needs. Well, I need the best point guard on the court. I need the best shooting guard. I need the best of everything, or I can't win. And we talked. So their teams were, and Zach, if you'll remember back in the end. So let's go back to the Bulls. And here's an impressive thing, Hunter. You bring up the defensive player of the year with Jordan.
Ron Harper was
outstanding as far as I think he was the only Defensive Player of the Year award in the last 30 years that's a guard. Like they're all forwards and centers, and he's the only one.
I think Jordan averaged like 3 steals a game that year.
Yeah, he was a steals leader one year, steals champion.
And so he so they built their teams. They didn't build up. Who was their point guards?
I mean, they wasn't trying to outscore Ron Harper or John Paxson.
Paxson, Harper, B.J. Armstrong,
Kerr.
Steve Kerr, and so
Craig Hodges.
So the other night I watched
Just a shooter.
I watched the Bulls and the Supersonics game 5 of that series. Supersonics actually won that one, but what I was noticing when the starting lineup, Zach, you just looking at that and they put the starting lineup on the screen, and the only thing you can say is Jordan better get 40 because there ain't nobody else is getting 40.
Getting 17 to 20 from Pippen.
Yeah, in the playoffs he was getting 25 because combined they were getting 60 in the playoffs most nights, and
That's it.
You looked, Rodman's not going. You can't count him for scoring. Kukoc was the third man in the second.
You might get 12 to 15 from him.
And Horace Grant was that
12.
second guy in the first dynasty. But they never had a dominant center like almost every team in the league had.
No,
they never had a dominant point guard like most teams in the league had. They just had the 3 wings.
They run three centers a lot of times. They run Purdue, Cartwright, and Luke Longley.
And the thing about those teams, and they
traded Purdue for Rodman.
Right. And so if you want to, in those teams in Hunter, here's another thing about those. So Michael never played with a single guy besides Scottie Pippen who made the All-Star team while as a Bull.
Mm-hmm.
Kukoc, Rodman, Horace Grant, none of them made the All-Star team as a teammate of Michael Jordan. So in his whole career as a Bull, he only had one player make the All-Star team, and it was Scottie. LeBron had more than that in his first Cavs stint in Cleveland. Zydrunas Ilgauskas and Mo Williams both made the All-Star team the year they went to the finals. So LeBron in his first finals, played with more All-Stars than Jordan did in his whole career. We're not even talking about Wade and Allen and Bosh and all those guys.
Oh, yeah.
And then moving back to Cleveland with Kyrie and then now in L.A. So looking at that.
And in L.A. with probably the third best player in the league in Anthony Davis.
Right.
And they prided themselves, you could hear Jordan talk about this, they pride themselves on defense.
Mm-hmm.
Because you remember.
That's where I was getting with how they set their teams up. They had 2 or 3 7-footers who could foul the big men.
Yeah.
That's all they did.
And they could hit free throws too.
Luke Longley in that finals, Zach, averaged 15 points a game against Seattle. I mean, that just tells you he was hitting those jump shots in the free throws.
Jumper.
Every one of their big men could shoot free throws.
Yep.
When they went to the line, they hit free throws. So they set their team up like I was saying, that like you just mentioned, to play defense. Everybody knew their role. It was Michael and Scottie score, and everyone else, Rodman, get the rebound, get out of the way. Kukoc, pitch in the third way. Centers play defense and hit your free throws, hit your open jumper when Jordan hits you. The point guards were guard the guy. If they couldn't guard the point guard and there was a problem, Hunter, they moved Scottie over there, and Scottie shut it down.
Yep.
I mean, it was Scottie. If I'm having someone guard the ball, he's the man. Nobody else in the history of NBA. Gary Payton might be your second choice, but Scottie Pippen's the man bringing the ball up.
And even they said, Ron Harper was a lockdown defender.
Right. And he was a 20-point scorer with the Clippers before he got there. So Shannon, your boy Sharp, was on the TV the other day talking about that Jordan didn't beat the same quality of players that LeBron did. So LeBron beat Tim Duncan, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant. And that's that was Shannon's point, is that best point guard, best power forward, maybe best small forward.
Jordan beat Stockton and Malone.
Let's go to that. We can just go down team by team.
Well, that's you know what that is. But I want you to think about that, though. I want you to think about that. That's literally playing into the argumentative paper. You lost the picture there. Just because that literally is playing into the argumentative paper that I was making, where everybody is saying today's players bigger, faster, stronger, and everything is better today. Right. And I made the argument that the players in the 90s would have just as good of a chance in today's game than anybody else.
Right.
And so that Shannon
Bulls
Sharp
team.
played right into that narrative with that statement.
The difference between
I like Shannon.
the Bulls team and teams now is that they would be guarding people.
Yeah.
Like they would be guarding people like they don't guard now.
Colin Coward on his show yesterday said the 96 Bulls would blow out the Golden State Warriors.
Yes.
Because they would play defense.
Right. So Zach, so I named those three guys that LeBron beat.
Right.
Okay. Magic Johnson, James Worthy. It wasn't Kareem on that first one. It was Devos. Kareem had just retired.
Mm-hmm.
But he beat Magic Johnson and James Worthy. Okay, Magic's considered maybe the best point guard of all time. So let's just say before LeBron starts playing, let's just look at the guys that he beat. I can give you a starting lineup, Zach, of Magic Johnson, Clyde Drexler at the 2, Barkley at the 3, Karl Malone at the 4, and
Elijah won.
He didn't beat Elijah in the finals.
Oh, we're talking about in the finals.
Yeah, in the finals. Who was the other one? I had
Seattle.
Kemp?
He would have been a power forward.
Well,
but you could have Stockton coming off as a 6-man.
Well, right. So Stockton coming off the bench behind Magic. Stockton was on the Dream Team and is the all-time leader in assists.
He gets poo-pooed on a lot.
And steals. Stockton is steals.
And he was tiny.
So he beat that guy. Stockton, Zach, if I don't know if you remember, he's the one that knocked out Barkley in the 97 playoff series with a three-pointer at the top of the key.
Yeah.
So what they did, I was watching it. Karl Malone set the most illegal screen I've ever seen in my life. And what they did was, so Malone and Stockton set up top of the key, right? So Barkley's guarding Malone. It was, I don't know if it was Kevin Johnson or not still at the time, or if it was someone else at point guard.
Probably was. Phoenix.
So when Stockton, somebody was talking about Kevin Johnson the other day, how he's today's like Kyrie Irving. He would get 20, 25 points a game, but he really didn't help his team and stuff. So Malone cuts towards the ball. Barkley follows him. Well, no. Sorry. Stockton cut under Malone for a pick, right? So when he cuts under him, Malone picks his guy. Barkley stepped up and didn't switch. See, back then they didn't switch every single pick. So Barkley steps up not to switch. But the point guard switched and left Stockton wide open, swinging around for a 3. Barkley didn't get there too late. And if you watch the replay, when Barkley stepped up, Stockton, Zach, shoved the guy guarding him into where Karl Malone was at. So they got like a 2-man shove. So he got pushed like twice within the same second. By the time Barkley realizes it, Stockton's standing over here by himself, and he catches the inbound pass, hits the 3.
And you're talking about who did Jordan beat? We could do by default. He didn't beat him in the finals, but he owned Patrick Ewing. Mm-hmm. So you could throw Patrick on there.
Went through Shaq.
Went through Shaq. He did have trouble with him that year he came back, I believe.
Right. The Magic beat him.
That was a good team
when Jordan was wearing 45.
Hardaway, Shaq. But that whole. I think it was Jalen Rose that said that Jordan would be unstoppable in today's time with no hand checking. It would be over. He'd average 40.
I was going to say, everybody would agree he'd average 40 on his career.
Look at James Harden.
On his career with hand checking, he averaged 30.
Look at James Harden. How much better is Jordan than James Harden?
It's not only the hand checking, Hunter. It's if you get by someone today,
there's nobody in the lane.
Is there a shot blocker in the lane?
No.
So not only would he get by,
dunk all over everybody.
It would be a dunk fest. His first 5 to 7 years when he was athletic, Jordan, like one of the most athletic guys in the league, the hand checking, with no hand checking and stuff, there's no way in the world anyone staying in front of him.
He posterized Dikembe. He posterized Alonzo. He posterized multiple shot blockers.
And see, I think that's what's going to make this so great, this docuseries. It's because it's going to give kids like me, and a lot of kids my age think that LeBron is the greatest, and that's fine. You know what I said? It's an opinion, and mostly it's statistic-based because he's so high up on assists, rebounds, points, and everything. But they're going to be able to see, and I'm going to be able to see even more in depth, not on like what I've already just searched up on my own, who Michael was on the court and his mentality, and essentially what made him so great. It's going to bring to light and give everybody just the only thing to watch if you're a sports fan is going to be that's just brand new. So it's going to be
good material.
It's going to be eye-opening for a lot of kids that are just like, oh well, it's LeBron. It's LeBron.
So Hunter, what you got was a perfect mix of one of the most athletic people of all time, who was taught the fundamentals by Dean Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Played for Phil Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Had some good coaches in the Olympics.
Even Doug Collins.
Across the board. Collins was a decent coach. So you take Jordan's raw athletic sports greatness. So before he got to winning the championships, people were discussing whether or not he could be in the discussion with Magic and
because he couldn't
pretty much
win.
Then it was Magic, Bird, and Kareem.
It was just because he couldn't win the big one.
Right.
It's the same thing everybody was having with LeBron before he won his.
And again, no superstar, except maybe Dirk, that I can think of, has won it specific kind of by himself. And Jordan was no exception with that.
I mean, that Mavericks team wasn't great, but they had what they did good was just play as defense. They played great defense, like team defense.
So not only did Jordan
they were in LeBron's
not
head.
only did Jordan only have one teammate, Hunter, every team he played against also had 2 or 3 All-Stars as well in those finals. Lakers, Magic, and Worthy. Portland, Terry Porter made the All-Star team that year, and so did Clyde Drexler. For the Phoenix, it was Barkley,
Kevin Johnson.
I think KJ made it that year. I may even think it might have been Marley. May have snuck in.
He was a shooting guard.
Yeah, he may
Kevin
have
Johnson was the point guard. Marley was shooting guard.
Right, Marley may have snuck in that year. And then over in, of course, the Sonics had Peyton and
Kemp,
and
they had Detlef Schrempf.
Detlef Schrempf made an All-Star team. I think he might have made it that year. They made the finals too, because usually those teams when they make the finals end up with 3 people on the on that. So, there's just so many little details and little things. Like how about they never played a Game 7, Hunter?
Never played Game 7.
Not in the finals. In the East they had to a couple of times here and there.
Well, yeah, never Game 7 in the finals because Jordan called game every time.
Well, and if let's just say this would be my opinion, but if they would go up today and they were in today's time, and you've got, let's just say it's the Lakers, Jordan would make it a vendetta. I mean, you're gonna have Scotty guarding LeBron, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna want him to shut him down. He's going to want to shut the Lakers down, and they could shut that Lakers team down. I believe that.
Who's the Lakers starting lineup, Hunter? Do you know?
Listen,
Rondo?
I will tell you this. I don't know if Rondo starts.
Right now. No.
Well, it doesn't matter because it's strange they play LeBron at the point. So if you want to go ahead and put LeBron at point guard,
they basically
go.
morphed him into Scotty.
It does, yeah. But what they don't realize is, I don't care who your 2 guard or maybe your 3 guard is Jordan's locking him up. Jordan's locking up. Your little guys that all they want to do is stand on the perimeter and catch and shoot. That's going to be that's rest time
they would have
for Jordan.
crying with their legs, tail between their legs. I mean, look at Rodman. He would have Anthony Davis tore up. Would he not? He would be in his head. He didn't have to score a point. He'd be out rebounding him, and he would have him crying.
Yeah, but are they going to let him talk as much smack in this soft NBA day? They're not just going to go tee him up real fast as soon as he about makes one of them cry.
It would be.
I don't know, because here's the thing.
And I tell you,
because the game is just so not physical anymore.
No, they're all friends.
The physicality that was
right,
in the
Zach,
90s.
Here's the Lakers.
Absolutely. I think it would overwhelm any team that has won it in the 2000s and 2010s. Maybe not the early 2000s, because if I'm not mistaken, hand checking was deemed out of the league. Like, you can't touch somebody on the perimeter in 2004. I think that was what my research said.
So this is, make sure when you do point that out, it's not only the hand checking, it's the no 7-footers in the lane blocking a shot.
Yeah, that too. Stretch 4s and 5s now. It's all spread out. And they're shorter today than they were in the 90s.
Here's their starting lineup.
Small ball.
Avery Bradley, Danny Green, LeBron, Anthony Davis, and JaVale McKee. And this is exactly how Chicago did up. Pippen would guard LeBron.
Yep.
Jordan would guard Avery Bradley. And then,
that's a lockup. That's a rest day for Jordan.
And then Ron Harper would chase Danny Green around. Jordan could guard Danny. There's no reason to make Jordan chase him around for 3-pointers all the time. So you make Ron Harper do that. And then so you'd have Bradley. Is he getting anywhere with Jordan guarding him? Danny Green's got Harper chasing him around. and then LeBron's got Pippen hounding him. LeBron would rather have the ball out of his hands if someone hounding him anyway, so that's what you want. Then you want Bradley starting the offensive Jordan guarding him. So
against a steals champion and Michael Jordan, he'd rip him.
It's the versatility of those three guys right there. They can guard no matter what three you put out there. I have a combination of rotating those guys. So if you look over at the Warriors, okay?
Right.
I'm guarding the Warriors.
Yep.
So who's my starting line for the Wiggins?
Do you want to do today's Warriors, or do you want to do this? You want to do the 73-9 Warriors?
Sure, whichever.
Do the 73-9 Warriors.
Okay.
Because then we can go Steph. Because we know that one. Because I can be honest, I don't know who's starting in this one. They're so injured.
Steph and Clay.
It's Steph, Clay.
You're gonna have.
All right, we'll go Steph, Clay, Kevin. This is if KD's still on the team.
Durant,
KD. Draymond, and then I don't know who they would even put at the Looney, Kevon Looney.
Okay.
Whatever.
So Looney's in Luke Longley. Okay.
It's a wash.
You know who I put on Durant though, Zach, don't you?
Pippen.
Nuh-uh.
You put Michael?
You want to get
Rodman?
Yes,
you want to put him on Draymond
KD,
just to have him.
Kevin
Durant. He'd
Durant.
be ejected in the first game.
Right. What's the point of him guarding Draymond? Nothing.
You don't want to stop the 7 points.
Cause you're right. I mean, that's my point. Rodman's your best defender for big men. Why put him on? Now Durant could play with Rodman on the perimeter a little bit, but
Rodman was quick.
That was what made him good. Was he was quick and he was 6'10".
Now the thing about Rodman, I don't want to do no social distance on you, but do you remember this? He would get on him and he'd be like doing this shaking thing. Do you remember? He'd be like,
he's just
all over him. Like
no matter what, he was going to be childish.
The worm.
About it.
Maybe that's why they called him that.
His nickname was the Worm.
Goodness, man, he is.
It was
he'd just get on your nerves,
right? And
I hated playing somebody.
Dennis Rodman's 6'7".
I would bring up.
Right. He would drive a Durant.
When we would play, and I'm not going to bring up the person's name.
I want you
to
to
know
think
exactly what I'm talking about. When we played at the gyms, this dude would come in. And he would come in, and I hated playing against him because he's always sweaty and he was super hairy, and he always wanted to rub up on you.
Yeah,
that's Rodman.
That's Rodman.
Yeah.
Now I'll tell you,
remember
what.
playing against that person?
I'll tell you what, though. In all seriousness, they used to say
it's a bear.
They used to say before Kevin Durant came to Golden State could be the best small ball team out there. Because you could play Draymond at the 5 and put whoever you want. That essentially would move Clay to the 3, keep Steph at the 1, and you fill in at the 2 and 4, whoever you want. You can make an argument. The Bulls could still shut that down if they went small.
Mm-hmm. See, the reason
because you can put Rodman at your center and he's 6'7",
right?
And he's out rebounding everybody.
The reason
and Scotty can be your 4.
The reason I wouldn't put that I wouldn't necessarily put Scotty on Durant is because of Rodman driving him crazy. And I don't know if I'd want to. If you put Rodman on Draymond, they're going to take each other out at halftime. But you kind of want Scotty to guard Steph because I don't want Jordan
or Clay.
I don't want. Well, see, I can do that with Jordan or Harper. So I'd rather have. Think about it, Zach. You could just smart wise put Pippen on Curry, Harper chase Clay around. You get tired
because Clay is still a 3-point.
Something you don't think
shooter.
about too is
he just
is
3-point
Harper. I think was 6'5".
Right.
Jordan 6'6".
Right. They're all
Pippen 6'8", maybe.
So
yeah, Pippen was listed.
So
as
then
6'8".
what I would do, I would rotate. I would put rotate Rodman and Jordan on Draymond and Durant. Okay. Durant nor Draymond is going to post up Michael, so I'm not worried about that. Okay. So all he's going to do is just getting their nerves, but you got Rodman getting in their nerves and Jordan talking smack.
Right.
So you got the most nerve-wracking person and the most jerk of all time talking junk to those two people. And then in the meantime, Scotty's 5 inches taller than Steph Curry.
Right.
And then Ron Harper's chasing Clay around. And that's exactly how I would guard them is rotate them like that. But that team, they can play anything. I didn't want to get into all that Jordan stuff, but Zach, I do got a good Jordan. Here's your good stat.
Well, I mean, it's something that we can talk about because it's what everybody's talking about. I know it's cliche to say, but since they announced that it's coming in literally like 2 weeks, that is going to be the topic. And after they show the first 2, that's going to be what somebody talks about is, do you remember this? Well, let's look back at this. It really highlighted this. And so what we didn't know was this. So this is the perfect time to just go ahead and start bringing light to it. And at this point, what else do we have to compare besides arguably the greatest dynasty of all time?
Space Jam.
When is Space Jam?
Everything I don't know. Everything goes back to Space Jam, Zach.
It's going to flop.
if they're going
to
flop,
I'm telling you, it is.
If they're
going to flop.
We sent undefeated Michael Jordan last time the aliens invaded. This time the aliens are invaded. They've give us the coronavirus, and we're going to send LeBron. He's lost 6 times.
Kevin said he's kicking out, and Elmer Fudd's going to shoot the 3 to win the game.
If you draw up the play, Hunter, at the end of the game, Jordan dunked in Space Jam.
I know, and he stretched himself.
LeBron will get to half court and kick it to Elmer Fudd in the corner for 3.
Yo, but can Fudd hit it, though?
Is that not the biggest argument?
He's going to play in Ray Allen's spot.
That's what I'm saying. It can't. But the question, that's what I'm saying, though, is like, can he hit it, though?
I think that's one
you
of the,
think Elmer Fudd could hit it?
I think
He's
that's
got
one of the biggest arguments against LeBron is that if I draw up a play at the end of the game,
he might kick it out.
No, that is the play you draw up.
Oh, yeah. He drives the lane and kick out. Not drives the lane and gets fouled.
Jordan, drive the lane, get fouled, pull a jumper, do something, score, okay? Yes, Michael. Yes, I'm going. LeBron, drive to the lane. You're going to be taller, bigger, and stronger, whoever's guarding you. When you get in there, get scared and kick it out to a skinny guy that
make the basketball play
in the corner.
And you know, you
make the basketball play. Who you can even look at me and say you don't think is better than
somebody
you.
asked Iverson about making the basketball play one time, and he said something to the nature of, I would bet that I can make it with 2 people guarding me better than he can wide open.
Yeah.
And you think about this, too.
That's Kobe's mentality with 3 people on him.
Jordan, he believed every time he stepped on the court, he was the best. There's 2 things I mentioned about the Dream Team. Everybody knows about the game. It was Magic team versus Jordan team, and Jordan just went
it was
off.
the practice.
And then the second thing is
that was a great
Tony Kukoc.
I thought you were going to talk about where he didn't play the first one.
When they set him on purpose.
Yeah, Chuck Daly didn't play. That's another
thing. That's a great story. But Tony Kukoc, and they made it a vendetta because everybody was talking about Tony Kukoc, and Jordan says he better not score. And they just hounded him, and he made life miserable for him.
They just drafted him.
Yeah,
and he was about to join them. They were like, he's not going to score.
And so, you was talking about that game that they actually lost. But Chuck Daly threw the game. I know you've both seen it when they played the
college all-star
team. Is that what
the
they
college
called
all-stars? Bobby Hurley.
It was a very good team.
Bobby Hurley and
Chris
then
Webber?
smoked them. Yeah, Bobby Hurley, Chris Webber. Shaq might have been on that team
too.
No,
it wasn't Shaq. It was Bobby Hurley, Chris Webber. They showed it the other day, and so
was it Leitner?
He was on the
dream team.
I know he was on the dream team, but I didn't know if he had played in the college select team, and then they were like, "All right, we're going to pull you to the dream team." He's the forgotten one.
Daly
on the dream
starts
team.
pulling Jordan and don't play him, and they get beat like 56-54 or 58-54, and they didn't know what to say because they didn't know how to play with each other, and they didn't think they could lose. And even Krzyzewski said this. He said, "We didn't even know that he was throwing the game." He said, "Only person who could pull that was Daly," and he said, but it showed them that they was going to have to play together. He said he'd come out next day and they just completely destroyed.
Well, yeah, they played Michael 1 by 40.
Yeah. So, but I was saying that mentality.
Yeah.
It didn't matter who he went up against. He could elevate to a different level.
Well, even Magic said. He said after they played each other, 1-on-1, or not 1-on-1, but Magic's team versus Michael's team for the Dream Team. He said that's when he knew this is Michael's team.
Well,
this is Michael's
my favorite
league.
part of it was Bird was laying in the quarter because Bird's back's hurt, and he's like, "Give it up, Magic. His league. Give it up, Magic. It's his league." And Magic was trying, but yeah, it was just different time. And I don't.
Wouldn't it have been nice to have seen Dominique play? Didn't he get hurt right before it? Didn't he miss it because he got hurt?
And the thing about Dominique was he blew his ACL out, I believe it was, and he came back and was still. He's one of the rare ones that actually came back. So it'd be interesting with KD, but he came back and he actually still averaged 30 points. Dominique, for his time, was awesome, and he still says he was robbed in the '88 Slam Dunk Championship. He probably was.
Dominique was the Vince Carter of that time. Didn't win anything.
Power dunker.
The Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady. He was scored 25 a game.
Yep.
Like just he was the player.
He'd walk out on the court and
so and Hunter, this is the champion. When people say, "Well, all you do is say 6-0 or 6-0," and the reason they do is because of this. Dominique can dunk better than Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Vince Carter can dunk better than Jordan. Larry Bird can shoot better than Jordan.
Right.
But Jordan's a 9.5 on like everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, all his contemporaries did not win like he did. Nobody has won like he does, even now. And you look at Durant, I think Durant may be the best scorer. Mm-hmm. If I want a point, I would give him the ball maybe even almost more than Michael if I need a 3 especially. But to get it, if I want somebody to go to the free throw line, I'm picking Michael. But Durant might be one of the best scorers. He's got 2 championships.
Yeah, only 2.
I mean, it's so hard, and he's 6-0. Never played Game 7,
and he
6 Finals MVPs. three-peated
twice.
LeBron's never three-peated.
Never
once.
three-peated. The only other person that's three-peated and he only did it once was Kobe.
Shaq and Kobe.
And
Shaq and Kobe in the Lakers.
He was probably an 87% free throw shooter for his career.
I think it was 88.
That's pretty good.
So Zach,
I think what I am really the most excited about, though, for this docuseries, besides them highlighting Michael and the Bulls, is getting to see what everybody else is going to say about them.
Yeah, it'll be good.
I'm actually really excited because I know it's unfortunate now, but because you have to put it this way, but the late Kobe Bryant's going to be on there, and I cannot wait to hear what Kobe Bryant says about Michael. I really can't, because Kobe idolized Michael. It was like his big brother when they were in the league. So when they get to talk to him, that's going to be great. They're going to have Pat Riley on there to talk about it. I want to know what Pat Riley's got to say about it. He orchestrated the Showtime Lakers. I really want to see what Barkley's got to say because he's not going to hold anything back. But he looks like he's got nothing but praise for Jordan. It's just, Colin put it in this way. He said, there will never be a team so loved than the Bulls were countrywide. And he put it this way. He said, heartland of the United USA, they're in Midwest, they're in Chicago. They play hard like everybody does on the East Coast. So the East Coast people can get around them like a Boston and a New York Knicks. They were hard, gritty, and played really tough. And then they had the flair and the pizzazz because they had the biggest icon in the United States in Michael Jordan that they appeased to the West Coast. He said, so everybody could, you might not like to see them beat your team, but you don't hate them. You're almost mesmerized by them just because of how great they were. And I think that's something that's exciting, especially for me. I was born the same year that they went 72-10. I was born in 96. So I didn't even get to see the 96 Bulls. But all I can go off is statistics, hardwood classics. And now this gives you a little bit of an insight, really, into what made, and I mean this in the nicest way, what made that monster tick in Michael Jordan. And I think this is going to be exciting.
What'd you have, Kevin?
I was just trying to pull up
I have no internet.
some,
at all.
None.
I'm connected to it.
No, you're good.
There you go.
Do I need to hit connect?
No. Just open a new tab, search what you need to do.
Okay. What was you asking, Kevin?
I was just trying to figure out if there was an exact reason in particular that Dominique didn't make it. It says he averaged 6 straight seasons before 92, averaging 26 a game. It was snubbed. Larry Johnson, James Worley, Tim Hardaway, Reggie Miller, these are some, Shaq, Isaiah Thomas. These are the people that were nominated. Rodman was nominated for the actual team. I'm glad we're how did Draymond Green get on an Olympic basketball team? He literally talked his way into all-star games and Olympic teams.
Right.
Because people like Terry will sit here and listen to him say he's really good, but he's not actually doing anything.
Right.
I have nobody playing this year, and he's still averaging 7.
Yeah, they don't have Steph, and they were getting ready to have Steph, but
when Draymond's the leader of your team, you go 7-50.
They're bad.
So he's better than. Yeah,
right. All right, Jordan won 3 championships, 3 scoring titles, named NBA MVP twice, named Finals MVP 3 times, all defensive first team 3 times, all within a 32-month span while missing 0 games.
Special.
32 months
special.
Span.
I want you to send me that picture.
All right.
I want you to send that to me.
I can't.
I just pulled something up. This is interesting stats. Most minutes played for the Bulls ever, Michael Jordan. Most rebounds for the Bulls ever, Michael Jordan. Most assists ever, Michael Jordan. Most steals ever, Michael Jordan. And most points, Michael Jordan.
Now imagine that. Imagine that.
Besides Jordan being in Chicago, how many championships have they won in the history of the team?
0.
They should have won another one, but they fell short with Derrick Rose.
All right, Hunter.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think that team was good enough to win a championship. Just the injuries hit them at the wrong time.
All right, Hunter, before I move on,
go ahead.
To something else.
Yeah.
To more important things.
Mm-hmm.
I do got one more stat.
Tell me.
This
Give me the
this
stat.
has nothing to do with Jordan.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
The Knicks
We've talked about Jordan for 40
The
minutes.
Knicks had support. Has it been that long? Jeez.
Yeah.
The Knicks have had support internally for a deal that would have sent Julius Randle, Dennis Smith, and a first-round pick to the Hornets for Terry
Imagine
Rozier
that.
and Malik Monk.
Imagine that.
They didn't do it?
Imagine that.
Who didn't do it? The Hornets?
The Hornets didn't do that.
No, it was the Knicks.
They didn't do. Oh, the Knicks didn't.
would love
pull
to have
through.
Julius
I think
Randle.
it was the Knicks.
No,
I actually
no.
like
Julius
Julius
Randle walking in is a 20 and 10 guy easily.
Yeah, that's
On the court, he's
Emeka
20
Okafor.
10. Yeah, but he'll go out there and get the job done. They don't need Terry Rozier. I would have been iffy on the. You could have done that deal to me. I know cap wise, it probably wouldn't have matched up without Dennis Smith Jr. Because they don't. I mean, well, if you're going to give up a 2 guard, you might as well get a guard back. But they have guys off the bench that could do that. But it's beside the point. I'm just getting at they don't need Terry Rozier because they've got Devontae Graham who plays better than him and is cheaper than him and is younger than him. So that trade would have been fantastic. And remember, I was talking about that when it was prime time trade deadline. I said this is something that is rumored that could happen for the Hornets between them and the Knicks. And if I was the Hornets, I'd pull the trigger. And it didn't happen.
He's been rumored. Julius Randle's been rumored a lot for the Hornets, and I think that would be good for both of them.
What I don't understand is why the Hornets didn't make a run at him when it came to free agency, because that's how the Knicks got him. They just got him this past offseason in free agency because they couldn't land Kevin Durant and they couldn't land Anthony Davis.
We could put a decent team together with him and is it Graham?
Oh, yeah.
Graham's
That'd be a good pick and roll.
I think it would, too.
I think it'd be a good, real good pick and roll.
And NBA...
Julius Randle can shoot a mid-range and 3-shot, too, so he fits the 4 spot perfectly.
NBA's changing,
in today's
too,
game.
from going from a... I like this. They're going from a 3 superstar team back to 2s. And I like more of the 2-player superstar teams.
Well, I think it's becoming that way because more and more stars... I think they see all the backlash Kevin Durant got, and and what LeBron got when he joined up with the Heat, when Kevin Durant joined up with the Golden State Warriors and made these quote-unquote super teams. And they're like, why can't I do it on my own, maybe with like one extra person? You know, I think that's the mentality. They're all buddy-buddy. We know that. They all go and play together in summer leagues and in spring ball until the season starts up, if their seasons are done. So all the players are buddy-buddy with each other. Nobody really hates anybody. Just, I think the mentality now, because I think they have thin enough skin that they're like, I really don't want to be labeled, the Kevin Durant of like a traitor. If you can't beat them, join them, And I like that. I agree. I think in Giannis's heart, he means it when he says he would like to bring a championship to Milwaukee. But I think he does
not need to go to Golden State.
I know he doesn't, but I think he's going to realize that he can't do it with Chris Middleton. He's going to need one other superstar. The problem is I don't think Milwaukee's got the kind of pull that a Golden State or a Miami or somebody else has to bring in that next superstar.
Toronto slipped in and got theirs.
Yeah, but Toronto's
it's a big city. I understand that.
It is a huge city.
I think Durant winning the championship with the Thunder would have been a whole lot better for his resume than going to Golden State and just tacking
I bring that up all the time.
His problem was Russell Westbrook.
That was his problem, but I bring this up all the time.
Skip talked about it.
Kids, there are going to be kids someday that you look at them and say, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and Kevin Durant all played on the same team and didn't win a championship. And they're going to be like, there's no way.
Well, here's the thing.
And I'll be like, yeah, it was the Thunder.
Russell Westbrook is an alpha. Kevin Durant's not an alpha. He's always going to take a back seat. And we'll see how he does with the Nets with Kyrie. Kyrie's the alpha in that.
Kyrie is a cancer. He's not an alpha.
Agree.
He's a cancer.
But why did they go to the Nets?
No,
because Kyrie wanted to go to the Nets.
How are you going to...
I think Kevin's okay being an alpha. I think the problem is...
I think he's a different kind of alpha. I don't think he's a vocal alpha.
The problem is, Zach, is that Westbrook shot more than he did.
Mm-hmm.
And if they would have just cut that back, no matter what team Kevin Durant is on, he needs to have the most shots.
I agree.
Whether it... Just name anybody. I don't care. Klay Thompson. I don't care. Whatever team he's on, he needs to have the most shots. And when Westbrook would take more than him, they would lose. I mean, it was just flat out. And Jordan wouldn't put up with that. Kobe wouldn't put up with that.
They knew. Kevin Durant even knew. He said that was Steph's team. But Steph knew he had to defer.
Right. Durant
to KD.
still took more shots than Steph.
He still took more shots than KD.
It's kind of unfair. With him being, is he a 6'11"?
Yeah, he's 6'11".
I mean, that's unfair.
Everyone that plays with him says he's 7 foot. He don't like to call himself a 7-footer. So he
think
wants
he's like
to list,
7 foot.
He
with
wants
like
to list.
shoes on.
He wants to list at
and where
6'10",
how does he
6'11".
shoot? You know what I'm saying? He's shooting what? He's undefendable
Oh, it's not
on the
release.
Yeah.
High when someone tries to high point him, they can't do it.
If he had a post game, if he had a fadeaway, if he had Dirk's fadeaway, Zach, and that's what I don't understand about LeBron. LeBron has been here 17 years.
He ain't developed it.
Jordan started working that. He saw
even
Hakeem,
Kobe did.
And the reason Jordan did is he saw what Hakeem Olajuwon did on the post, and Kobe did the same thing. And as a basketball player, I'm telling you that position, someone who can do that, is so valuable because he can score almost in so many ways and affect the team that way.
Kevin Durant is literally pick your spot, and that's it. He just looks at a spot, he goes to it, and it's his.
He shoots straight up, straight on, squared up.
By the time he's up at his high point, he's looking down at the rim.
If him and LeBron did Dirk fadeaways, it would be ridiculous. I tell you what would be nasty for Kevin Durant to learn would be a sky hook.
That'd be unstoppable.
Oh my! Because he's already got the touch,
and he's got the length.
So I watched the first Shaq versus Yao Ming game.
If Yao wouldn't have got hurt, he would have been locked.
Shaq had a ton of trouble.
Yeah.
With Yao.
He's huge.
The first 2 times down the court, Shaq tried to body him and just take it into him and dunk on him. Yao blocked him.
Like, I want you to think about this.
And then Yao got a dunk on his first attempt. So the first 3 possessions was 2. Shaq gets his blocked shot twice. Yao dunks on it. And then at the end of the game, Yao made 2 free throws.
Skyhook, Kevin Durant. He's already 6'11", 7'5" wingspan.
Yeah.
7'5" wingspan. Who's getting up there?
The only problem I see with Kevin Durant is when you see him on the court, and then you look at his legs.
Oh, they're this big.
I've never seen anything like it.
That's probably why his thing.
I've never seen anything like it.
Achilles blue.
Yeah, but he never had a major injury until now.
I've got some. We got a little fun, Hunter. You want to have some fun today?
We can have some fun.
I got some fun for you. We may have a bunch of people change the channel or tune into what I'm about to do. We're going to talk a little wrestle